Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. On the balmy island of Little Crescent, two journalists are there for the same reason: to write the biography of the woman no one has seen in years, or at least meet with the woman claiming to be Margaret Ives, tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. The ever-optimistic Alice and Pulitzer Prize-winning human thundercloud Hayden have a month trial period to win Margaret over. But Margaret is only giving pieces of her story. It becomes abundantly clear that Alice's and Hayden's story, just like the one Margaret is spinning, could be a mystery, tragedy, or love ballad, depending on who's telling it. What did I think? I think A Great Big Beautiful Life was like a cozy, realistic love story, as realistic as you're gonna get with like a Hallmark kind of movie story. You're moving to more of a southern town in Georgia. It's slow burn. It's a more subdued and subtle romance, but there's a bigger foundation being built with friendships first over having that fast and heavy hitting romance, which I found to be refreshing. Just with all the romantasy out there. Don't get me wrong, I love a good romantasy, but it's fun to read a story that's a little bit more of a slow burn first. So I always ask myself 7 questions when I'm looking at a book. I'm rating from 1 to 10 on the writing and quality, the voice, style, and dialogue, the characters, the setting and world, plot and story, entertainment, and just this unquantifiable feeling. So for my writing and quality, I gave it a 10 because it's easy to follow. There isn't really any in-your-face grammar errors. It's clear who the characters we're talking to. The cover is cute and simple. I mean, look at this. It's just cute and simple. I love that. So for me, it was a 10. When you're talking about the voice, style, and dialogue, I rated it as an 8. It's more of a personal thing. There was nothing like, I think, technically wrong with the style dialogue. Alice Scott is your FMC, and I liked her, and like I said, there wasn't anything overly wrong, overly annoying, anything like that. I just think it was more of a personal thing. Like, there were just a few moments of dialogue where I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this character. So that's why I gave it an 8. Then, talking about characters overall, you had a very strong FMC and MMC. I like that Hayden, I think I like Hayden's character more. I thought he was more interesting and more compelling than maybe Alice's character was. Maybe I just wasn't overly enthused with just some of her character flaws or just like her internal struggles as a character. I don't know what it was. I found Hayden's to be a little bit more compelling, a little bit more interesting. And I wonder if maybe the book would have benefited from doing like a dual point of view, because the book it's not really, I mean it is, but it isn't, because it's like a story within a story, but it's mostly told from Alice's point of view. You don't get any with Hayden. And I think I would have liked that a little bit more, to dive deeper into his character. And then Margaret, you have Margaret Ives, who gives me very strong Marilyn Monroe vibes, which I think that was kind of the intention with the writing. If not, then I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. It wasn't a bad thing. That's what I picked up on the whole book, throughout the whole book. So I gave the characters an 8. I thought it was pretty solid. I like Hayden. I think he's probably my favorite character in the book. So anyway, I thought it was good. The setting and world, I don't know. I don't really think it was anything too special. I mean, you're talking about a little island in Georgia. To me, it was kind of a non-factor to the book, because you really could have put the story in almost any setting and it would have been fine. So I don't know. For me, it was just kind of like a non-factor. I gave it a 6. I mean, there wasn't really anything special about it. It's not the best story I've ever read, like best like setting. I mean, I don't know, it's just like normal. Again, it's like a non-factor for me. The plot and story, I appreciated that it was different from her other books. It was slower paced, more of a slow burn, maybe slightly more realistic. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it was good. it was definitely slower paced comparatively to all of our other books. So I gave it a 7. Entertainment. I wanted to give it higher. I want to say that I was like so entertained and couldn't put it down. There were definitely parts of the book where it was compelling and I wanted to stay up and read it. But overarching, I don't think there were many times where I was like reading it where it was like that difficult to set down. Where I felt like in the past when I've read her, it's always been like, I've really liked him. It's been hard to put down. I think the only one for me that hasn't been like that is Happy Place. But that's like one of my least favorite books by her. I definitely like this book more than Happy Place, but I don't know. It could just be the season of my life, but it was maybe a little too slow. Like I like a good slow burn, but I just felt like I don't know, I felt like it drug a little bit in the story. And I felt like, so it's like a story within a story, and it's giving me like The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's giving me a lot of similarities to that. But I will say I liked that book better. I thought it was more interesting. There was more things that captured my attention. Whereas this, I don't know, it just maybe fell flat a little bit. It's not the exact story as The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but it's similar in a way. I felt like maybe the family history was a bit convoluted, in my opinion. The unquantifiable feeling of just like, you don't know what it is, but you're just like, you know? I mean, it was good, and there were things I really liked about it, and there were things I didn't, but it's definitely like middle of the road, so I gave it a solid 5. I mean, it's a solid 5. I just felt like I couldn't give it any higher. This wasn't really a book. Like, after I read Book Lovers, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so good. Like, I just, like, it was like one of those, it felt like a Hallmark movie where you're, like, kicking your feet, like, ah, like, you're, like, I don't know. It's, like, a very girly reaction. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Not my favorite book I've ever read. I would recommend it, and I would, like, it wasn't bad. I don't know, just the feeling about it. It was just middle of the road. Just middle of the road. Okay, so now that I've shaped all of my lovely bagels, or I haven't shaped all of them, I've shaped 2. That's what I get for talking and doing this at the same time. So with the dough, I split it into 8 little dough balls, and then I just round it in my hand, find the center, and poke my fingers through, and then just spin. See? And then you get like a little donut, a little doughy nut. Yeah. They're not gonna be perfect. I don't know. There is people that make them really nice. I don't worry. I refer to my family and friends, I call myself the ugly baker in terms of like the things that I bake aren't necessarily the prettiest things, but they taste good. So what's more important, that it looks beautiful or that it tastes good? Well, we're working on presentation, but like, come on. So I'm just shaping all of these, and we're gonna put them on the pan, and we'll probably let them rise for a minute, but honestly, I always feel like this is an optional step because I'm usually making them at like 7-8 o'clock in the morning for my kids' breakfast, and I don't feel like waiting a half an hour for them to rise. I've had success doing it, but you know, do you. Quick tip, while you are shaping your dough or letting it rise, whatever have you, it would behoove you to preheat your oven to 425 because we are going to cook these bad boys in the oven at 425 for about 20-25 minutes. So my oven always takes a million years to preheat. So plus we also have to boil these. So what I did while I was shaping these, I got my little big old pot. I don't know what it's called. Don't ask me that. I'm not a culinary lingo expert. I just know it's a big pot with a bunch of water. I would say there's probably 6 cups, but you know, we'll just guesstimate. It's about 6 cups. And then I'm gonna use honey. You can, I was gonna say you can use something else, but no, that you can't. You use some honey because you're gonna put about 2 tablespoons of honey in the water to help. Sure. Okay. So while I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'm going to let these rise. As you can hear by the bubbles, we are sufficiently boiling enough. So I'm gonna drop in, my pot can accommodate 4. So I'm gonna put in 4 little bagel babies and let them, let them bubble and boil for about a minute or so. And then I'll flip them too after like 30 seconds or so. They should float after a few seconds. If they don't float, it's not really that big of a deal. Sometimes mine gets stuck on the bottom. So I just take my oversized fork and just prod them around just a little bit. Just like prod those babies. So yeah, we're just gonna let them boil for a quick hot minute, and then we'll take them out with my big fork. If you don't have a big oversized fork, why don't you? You should. You could use something like this. You can use tongs, you could use a spoon. I don't care, just don't use your fingers in the hot water. That would hurt. Alright. We're gonna take these Bagels out. I don't know where the southern accent came from, because I am not from the south. To be honest, I don't really even know where my accent comes from most of the time. I'm not actually trying to. It's like a little twang that happens when I start recording. I don't know. It's like my alter ego Mildred's come out to play. That sounds psychotic. While I'm waiting for those bagel babies to bubble and boil, I'm going to take some everything bagel seasoning and season the ones that I just did. And these other ones that are still bubbling and boiling, I'm just going to leave plain. One of my sons prefers it. The other one will eat whatever bagels I make. My husband could go either way, but you can make like Asiago cheese, you could do like a cinnamon sugar, you could do everything plain. I mean, honestly, you can really season it how you want. But my tip is give them like a few seconds after you boil it to season it. And yeah, it'll be good. Those puppets seasoned well. Oh no, we're gonna bubble over. Okay, turn that off. Put that off the heat. All right. We're gonna. Ooh, that pan's hot. We got our bagel babies, and we're gonna put them in the oven. I've already preheated my oven to 425 to save time, and I'm gonna pop these in for about 20 minutes. Then I'll take them out, flip them, and bake them for about another 3, 4, 5 minutes. So you know what I feel. Don't forget to set your timer, because I almost always forget there's something in the oven. A timer is helpful. Don't put them back in the oven for about another 3.5 minutes. But that you can do 3.5 minutes, you can do 5 minutes. Anything up to 5 minutes, I would say. Gucci. I'm done.
Fog does not stink. Tommy, fog is fog. Fog don't stink.
Food influencer, and don't they look delicious though? They smell fantastic. So, the bagels are finished. So, I want to leave you with this one quote that they repeated a few times in the story, and I absolutely loved it, and it's this: when you love someone, you do anything to give them what they need. You unmake the world, and you build a new one. So, go out and build a new world after this little num-nums and chit-chats, and eat your yummy nummy bagels.